We need to change the verbiage surrounding natural hair. Let's talk about it. Good morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Maya Karen. I run a fashion blog called Classically Kept. It does feature luxury, contemporary, and how to style, and now natural hair care and hair care topics. So if you are into any of those things, please consider subscribing to my channel. Click the notification bell. That way you will never miss a video. So today in this video, I want to talk about the verbiage and the wording in the marketing when it comes to natural hair. We need to focus, or we need to pay attention to how we are talking about natural hair when it comes to the community, when it comes to our young girls and our children, and when it comes to marketing. So the very first thing that I want to do is I kind of want to go over some words that we use when it comes to natural hair that we need to rethink. And then I just kind of want to hit some points. So the very first one, or the very first word, which everyone is familiar with, is frizz. We have been indoctrinated, or we have been conditioned to think that the word frizz when it comes to natural hair is bad. We have also been conditioned to think that when someone says that your hair is frizzy, or when a company is telling you that your hair is frizzy, that it is damaged. Your hair is naturally kinky, coily. Your hair is going to be frizzy at some point. I talked about this in the laying your edges in that video. For me personally, there is no edge control. I don't care if it's 1 hold, 10 hold, extra hold. And I do not have 4C hair. There is no edge gel. There is no edge control that will keep my edges laid from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. Frizz does, and I'm not talking about excessive frizz, okay? I know that sometimes when your hair is excessively frizzy, that there is a concern of damage, but I'm talking about regular frizz. For instance, I did my hair this morning and I already see, I don't know if you can see, but there is already some frizz popping up, okay? Your hair, your natural hair being frizzy, there is nothing wrong with that, okay? That is how it naturally is. The next one, which this word is not allowed in my household, is nappy. We are all familiar with the sports commentator who called that basketball team nappy-headed hoes, okay? We do not use the term nappy in my household. Kinky, coily, cute, whatever, but nappy is not a word that we use in this household, okay? It has very bad undertones, and it has always had a negative connotation. The next two, which I'm going to couple together, is going to be tame and unruly. I have noticed when it comes to marketing for natural hair, tame your edges. Do you have unruly edges? I've noticed within the marketing, they're beginning to use these words as well. As I said with nappy and as I said with frizz, there is nothing that needs to be tamed, and there is nothing unruly about your kinky, coily hair. That's just what it is. When you start calling things, or when you start marketing certain hair products saying tame your edges, or do you have, or sometimes when you select these infomercials, do you have unruly hair? Well, here's this solution. There is nothing unruly about your hair. There is nothing that your hair does not need to be tamed. Does it need to be pulled back in certain situations or in certain environments? Yes. But when you say tame, that means that something is wild, like you tame a lion, right? The lion or an animal that is in a zoo is typically domesticated. Your hair does not need to be tamed, which is going to bring me to the next one, which is going to be unmanageable. Your natural hair is unmanageable, or once again, if you are watching a commercial, is your natural hair unmanageable? Try this. Is your natural hair unmanageable, or have you not found the proper products? The next one, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard, is natural hair being referred to as a Brillo pad. If you are not familiar with what a Brillo pad is it something that is used to clean, but it is also very abrasive. There is nothing rough, there is nothing abrasive outside of dry hair about your natural hair. This term has been used forever, and it's typically for someone who has a coarser texture, maybe like a 4C individual. But again, referring to your hair, referring to someone's natural hair as a Brillo pad has always had a negative connotation. This next one is a new development, or for me it is. I talked about this in Vlogmas of 2024. It is a cotton press. So we're now, I guess you could say, quantifying how silky someone's hair is when they straighten their hair. The situation went viral on TikTok. Apparently, the young lady, when she straightened her hair, she did not have a silk press, but she had a cotton press. We are all very familiar here in the States about not the negative connotation, but the negative and the terrible history behind the word cotton, the fact that we are referring to someone's hair as a cotton press, I think we can find a better term. This next one, which I'm pretty sure it has been said to you or you know of someone that it has been said to. The word brave. I know of people who have been told you are brave for wearing your natural hair. That is a backhanded compliment. You are telling me that I am brave for wearing the hair that literally grows out of my scalp. There's no need to be brave about it. Simply compliment the person's hair and move on. And the last one, which this has existed since probably the beginning of time, but it is the good hair versus bad hair. And I will give you a personal anecdote. I was in college. Now, this story was brought back to me, so I don't know whether or not it is true, but it has stuck with me. So apparently there was a forum going on in the student union between boys and girls. They were having an open-ended discussion or open discussion about dating, preferences, sex, aesthetics, and all of that. A girl stands up and asks the guys, would you rather have a girlfriend who has long hair and it's weaved, or would you rather her hair be natural? Of course, one of the guys stands up and says, I'd rather her have long hair. He did not make the distinction about whether or not it be weave or natural. I'm going to assume weave. So as the conversation is going on, someone brought up myself and my girlfriend. And they said, well, what about Maya and what about my girlfriend? One of the guys stands up and says, well, they don't count. They have good hair. This situation has stuck with me, but it let me know three things. The very first thing was that even within the natural hair care space or just within the community, there is a hierarchy. Number two, it let me know that this is really a thing, right? College is when I really discovered natural hair. I knew that there were Black people who had naturally kinky, coily hair. I knew that I always got relaxers, but that is when I was really introduced to natural hair. And the third, which is we now refer to it as texturism. But the third thing that has always stuck with me is that on campus, my girlfriend and I were the bar. We were the standard. If the young lady's hair did not resemble ours, it was not considered good hair. The next thing that I want to talk about is we need to acknowledge that this is now coming from within. The call is coming from within the house. We are past slavery. We are past antebellum. We are past civil rights. There was a time where a Black woman had to straighten her hair, or she had to have a certain aesthetic to get a certain job to feed her family for her livelihood. We are past that. Do people outside of our community still hold negative connotations about natural hair? Yes, they do. Do they still make crazy comments? Yes, they do. But we need to acknowledge and we need to address that it is also Black people ourselves. I have never had, to my face, let me say that, to my face, I have never had a Hispanic, Asian, or white person comment anything to me negative about my hair. They've asked me questions out of curiosity, but my hair has never been made fun of by another race. All of my crazy comments have been from Black men and Black women, old and young. We need to have conversations about within the community, okay? That needs to be said. It needs to be said. It needs to be discussed. And I'm not just talking the States. I'm also talking about the UK, and I'm also talking about Africa. I'm also talking about the West Indies and or the Caribbean. It's everywhere, okay? We need to acknowledge that it is not other communities, that it is in fact our own. The next thing that I want to talk about are our young girls. What we say to our children matters. What you say to your daughter, this is a hair channel, so we're talking about hair, but what you say to your child when you are doing her hair matters. What you say to your child can shape her reality, can shape her view and her self-esteem of herself. If you are always huffing and puffing and complaining and tugging and talking about how nappy and unmanageable and how unruly your child's hair is, she is going to internalize that and she is going to think that something is wrong with her hair. And she will be in search of a solution for the rest of her life unless she realizes her beauty or unless someone intervenes. I will give you an anecdote of what it is that I am talking about. Now, this is an anecdote. I cannot confirm whether or not this particular story is true, but I know that this is happening every day. I did a video and it was titled A Generation of Bald Women, and someone left a comment about a comment that they saw on Nextdoor. If you are not familiar with Nextdoor, it is basically a website or an app where you can see what is going on with your neighborhood. I will tell you that Nextdoor is unhinged, and I have no idea why this story was on Nextdoor, but here it goes. So there was a young woman by the name of Luna. She was playing with 3 other girls in the neighborhood. Luna was a dark-skinned young lady who had 4C hair. The other girls were of a lighter hue or lighter complexion, and they had a looser curl pattern. They were all playing double dutch in the neighborhood. A neighborhood woman walks by, and she acknowledges the other 3 young ladies, tells them that they are beautiful, and tells them that they have gorgeous hair. She looks at Luna, and she continues. She doesn't say anything to Luna. She doesn't even acknowledge her. I'm telling you this story because clearly this stuck with Luna, because she posted and she talked about how for years she was in search of validation. She was in search of an aesthetic that she would never be able to accomplish. She was in search of a certain look that she would never be able to get. I'm telling you this story because there are Lunas being made every single day. We have young ladies who are in search for an aesthetic that they will never be able to live up to. They will never be able to accomplish. And I don't think, as grandmothers and mothers and aunts, I don't think that we are doing it on purpose, because as I've said before, you tend to raise your child how you were raised unless you see something wrong with it, especially when it comes to natural hair or getting a relaxer. Your grandmother got her hair relaxed. Your mother got her hair relaxed. So in turn, your mother relaxed your hair. It's going to take the daughter to realize, hey, maybe this is not the best thing that I should be doing for my hair. So you would hope that the daughter would raise the granddaughter or the great-granddaughter to love her natural hair. What I am saying is that we need to be careful when it comes to how we talk about natural hair in the community, social media, and to our young girls. The last thing that I do want to address is because I'm beginning to get these comments and I want to be very respectful, but I also want to make sure that I get my point across. As the community grows, I'm beginning to get comments about bullying. I'm beginning to get comments about, aren't we tired of talking about this? And this is a vanity metric. Respectfully, no, we cannot. And here is the reason why, as I just gave you multiple reasons before. But the reason why I will not stop talking about this is because while I am at home building up my granddaughter, your son or your daughter, they are at school tearing her down. And then she has to come home and I have to reinforce her natural beauty to her. Okay? So respectfully, no, I cannot stop talking about it, and I won't. Video editing Maya here. And this comment right here is precisely why I will not and cannot stop talking about it. You need a relaxer. Ma'am, Debbie, you picked the wrong individual, but once again, if I was not secure within myself, let's say, for instance, I was a young lady and I was teeter-tottering or I was on the fence about relaxing my hair, and I see this comment, it very well could have sent me over the edge. So no thank you, but thank you, Debbie. So I know I have said a lot in this video. What I love about my community is that we can disagree, but we keep it respectful. Let me know your thoughts and your experiences in the comments. I just want to remind you, here on YouTube, I do upload videos every Wednesday and Thursday. And of course, every Wednesday and Sunday. And of course, up here or down here, I'll put my Instagram handle. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, you guys. Bye.
We always have it coming.